Alrighty then. Welcome to my episode of rating welding rods on a scale A through F. Because I usually don't see E. But, we get basic, whatever. Starting off, 309-16 is a stainless to carbon rod. I like it. I've only used it a few times, but it does its purpose. And I would say this is a B tier. 66XHO. You know what? I don't know a lot about this. I've used it a few times. It's like a 7018, but it's a little less susceptible to below hydrogen problems, it would seem. I mean, realistically, B, but I haven't used it much, so I could say, no, yeah, it's easy to see. I don't have anything wrong with it. You know what? I don't have an S tier. You want to use that? I'm going to pretend to see the cardboard is an S. Bear with me, if you will. Alright, moving on. 7010. 7010's fine. It's a 7010G. For the ones that I have, I mean, they're alright. They're a little difficult to run. Sticks a little, gets me getting used to. Right now, it's a C tier for me. It's probably just a skill issue. Some of them, I haven't used the 6024 much. Let's see what else we got. The 6024 can't really rate that. I only used it once or twice. 6020, I'd say it's a fairly good performance. It's not really as good appearance-wise as 7018 and stuff, but for being its rarity, I would want to put it at S tier, because for the longest time it was a goal to get a hold of 6020s, and they're pretty nice, except they're only to flat and horizontal position. 9015. Can't really complain with this one. I've used it. It's my highest tensile strength rod I currently have. I like the what you call it, the slide coating. It's like glass, like a very slick, shiny surface to it. Never really had any problem with this. Haven't done a rod talk video on it yet. I'd say this is about a B. C is kind of, let's see, C is like, kind of average. It's alright. D is like, I don't want to really use it. I'll use it if I have to. F is like, I do not want to use this. So it's 9015, I'll put that on a B. Maybe a B minus. Now these, the alloy rods, Arc Alloy Rod Company. These are old, they smell like my great-grandma's house. Just that old, I want to say almost dusty floral smell. They're a D. I mean, as old as they are, they're not real great, but what do you expect? I have a video on those if you're interested. Of course, I got to put all these back then. Xena arc brazing rods. It's like brazing, but they're stick welding. They do their job. The arc isn't all that smooth. It's alright. I've repaired like a shovel with it. But as for the performance, aside from it's doing what it does, about a C. It works. It's just not real pretty. The ejected Castellan. Haven't had a problem with these. They made it into my Rustbuster Olympics. They did pretty good. And I would say they were a B tier. Let's see. Coat hanger. Oh, that piece of copper wire. Put that coat hanger up here. We'll do copper wire and coat hanger together. Easily both F. Copper wire, it'll make pretty little welds, but they're really gloppy, especially since it's bare wire. Coat hanger smells terrible. Let's see. E6013, 1/16 of an inch, F. Hate these things. Easy. A big hole in lawnmower with them, and they were not very nice to use. 7018 AC. D tier. Yes, I run them on a DC machine. Maybe AC would make a difference, but it's like the additives in there to make the arc more stable to use when on AC. It's like almost overpowering on DC. I don't know. They're very prone to slag inclusions for some reason, and I never liked them because of that. Not quite sure why they do that. And again, obviously I'm not using the right machine, but B14 6019. I didn't come out with part 2 of this video yet. What do I think of these? Fortunately. Sure, they're great at flat, they're okay at horizontal. I had a terrible time with vertical up on them, and I got a burn like that big on my arm trying to do overhead with them. Claims they're all positioned. These are not. If they are all positioned, they're not very fun to run at all. Tell you what. What else is laying out here? There it is. 7018. Obviously, this is A tier. Those are Hobart 7018s. 7018 S tier is Excalibur. I like these. These are good rods. Excalibur 7018s are my go-to if I had enough of them, but I only have a few. Most of them would do the Hobart. All around a nice smooth running rod. 7016 is in here. I honestly really can't rate that. I use like one rod to weld on the axle of my trailer build. I mean, it seemed fine. A little stubby. Well, just a little bit. They got the quick start tip on the end of them. Let's just put it in a B. Why not? I didn't have any issues with it, but it wasn't really a go-to, so let's just go with C. We'll say a C+. 6022. Obviously, we all know where this is going. S tier. My favorite. Here, the welds are really ugly and disgusting looking, but it's great for everything. It's just, you know, tacking and everything. Always strikes. Great puddle, great stability. That's an amazing little rod. I wouldn't recommend it for welding stuff together, but it's my go-to for holding everything together. Pre-welding. If you have seen me use it multiple times. 7024. I'm about in the middle. C+. It's fine, I don't really have any problems with it. And honestly, I haven't used it much. But, it blew out the breaker in the garage once using that. So I'm just going to put it midway. I'll be a little biased there against it, but 6011. I'd say these are a C tier. They're good. They're good for grungy stuff. And say when you got a lot of rust on something, you need to weld it together. They're pretty good for dirty work. But the arc is really, it digs a lot. And it can leave undercut if you're not real careful. But it's not bad. Of course, that was probably just me not using it right. I'll use it if I need to. It's not really the go-to. It's kind of like a 6010, but you don't have to whip with it, and it digs more. I mean, you can just drag the 6010 and not whip it at all, but... Oh yeah, hard-facing rods. Those are C tier. I put them on a lot of tools just to kind of reinforce it with a harder metal, like chipping hammer, and a couple other chipping hammers. and center punches. But yeah, you have to long arc them, which I find kind of interesting. Yeah, I have to long arc those for some reason to stable arc. Let's see. And we have, I don't even know what it is. 6013. I'm not a fan of 6013s. And just like the 6019, it's way too much slag. Sure, it's good for thin metal, and say you've got a beginner's rod, and it's got a stable arc, but the excessive amount of slag in the puddle makes it prone to slag inclusions. I'm not a big fan of that. Anything out of a flat position, it's going to be difficult to run with because it just envelops your puddle. I mean, the slag is part of the puddle, but you got your molten metal in front, and it just covers everything up. They're not. I don't like using them. I can use them, and really, I probably shouldn't be so picky about it. But I'll use them if I need to. But that scenario has been very few and far between. For any cutting or gouging rods, I'm not even going to take that out of the box. They're between C and D. You just push them instead of dragging them. You push it, gouge away from the metal. I did a short video on that before, but not a lot to that. It's alright. It's not real great for welding stuff together. It's very limited purpose. These unmarked rods, F all the way. I don't know what these are. These are like, maybe it's because my welder didn't run them real well. Is this 5 seconds here? Or is this 5 seconds? I think these are all 8. Cover 7/16, that's 5 seconds. Yeah, these are 5/32 something or other. Unmarked rods, got them in a lot of rods from eBay. I really dislike these. They are absolutely terrible arc, horrible to keep going, very thin coating of flux. I don't know what they are. Straight up don't know. They're like a 7018 in appearance, but a lot worse when you try to run them. F. It's these. They're like a 5/32 7018 jet rods. Same category, 6010, easy S tier. I like my 6010. I'm not someone who's been in the field for years and years and used a ton of these, but I've used more 6010s than probably any other rod in the garage I have right now in the garage. Now I have used more 7018s in different locations, like at my friend's house, but welding within here I've used a whole container of these, and I'm on my second container. I like my 6010s. They can cut through just about anything. And they look nice. Dime stacking is nice, I think. Let's see, 6027. It's a C. It's nothing bad about it, really. It's really only good, obviously, position 2 being flat and horizontal. It is the welding rod with the highest deposition rate out of any welding rod. It has a very high iron oxide content flux. It's good for, now whenever you say build up, you're thinking like hard facing rods. I used it to like a couple of ways, like build up a hammer so you can grind it down and put out a lot of weld at once. Same with the vise I restored. So it's good if you're putting down a lot of material. There's that lid. Let's see. The Lincoln's 564 stainless steel rods. And oh my word, the garage is so damp in here. I hate it. Everything's sticking together. These are alright. They're on the lower end of C tier. They need for their size, they need a fair amount of heat. Otherwise, you're going to end up with slag inclusions in them. It'll look like you have a nice puddle going, but end up with just a lot of melting slag with it. So they're not bad, but it would not be a go-to, and that was where we go to next. 308 L15 stainless rods. My first ones I ever bought, and I got 2 cans of them. I put them, I haven't used a lot of these. Hey, you've got something for me to weld, I'll do it. But I'd say them are in the lower end of B tier. They're fine. That might be kind of inconclusive. There's nothing really wrong with them. Thing about stainless rods though, they will get red hot a whole lot easier than a steel rod. Nickel. I can't really rate the nickel alloy stuff. I haven't really used them much. Oh look, metal container of 7018 530 seconds. Oh, these are 7014s. Yeah, okay. 7014 530 seconds. I mean 330 seconds. Good grief. Same with normal 7014s. Both are C tier. I never ever use them. Lower end of C. They're fine. I recently tried them out a little bit. They're like, best way I could describe it if 7018 to 6011 had a kid. Their appearance wise is like 7018, but they have more penetrative digging action and more spatter. I mean, if that's what you like, then go for it. I should really try to use some more variety of what I have. But they're so-so for me. I've used them probably less than any other rod in the garage. Let me see, 7015 B tier. I like the 7015. It's like the predecessor to the 7018. It was used for to like prevent, I don't remember what it was. I read the article before. It was like to prevent cracking in the steel, like the flux composition was like, man, I want to say limite something. But they have they have a lot of ripples and ridges in the welds. I like that. But anyway, yeah, this is the grandfather of 7018, essentially. I got experience with them. ADT AC Plus. They're alright. I put them in a C tier. Not something I'd normally use. They're like a 6013, basically, from what I have found. And I do video on these, reading about them. They're a little better than the 6013, so C minus ish. Now aluminum rods. If I recall, the Marquette brand aluminum rods I got off eBay. They were old, and if I had any of them left from that trailer, I would put them right down at F all the way. They were terrible to work with, old and crumbly, and they got soggy in the garage. I'd be very happy if I had a cupboard instead of this rack to keep stuff off the floor. These are about D tier. They're if you need to do something aluminum, that's great. These are not something I would go to. I would go get yourself aluminum spool gun or TIG weld it if you're going to do aluminum. This is if you need to. And what is in the 6010 box? Oh yes, these disgusting little Marquette, whatever. I believe that was the brand. 330 seconds aluminum rods all the way down here. Nasty. Oh man, and lastly 6012 D tier. Don't like them. I'm going to do a series called Arc Redemption. No, Redemption Arc. Like this character Redemption Arc, but it's like AR. I think it is ARC either way, like the Arc of the Welding. Haha. But 6012 will be in that. I'm going to try to kind of redeem it for myself. I really don't like it because it's hard to keep an arc with it. It's not real stable, and you have to long arc it. I've always had to long arc these as I drag them. If you touch the metal, it goes out. Can't explain that. They have not been enjoyable to use. 5/32. I don't have a whole lot else going on here. Oh, these old ones. Old unmarked rods and zombie rods, as they call them, because they're pretty much dead and corroded. These would be F tier. There are more welding rods I would like to get. Like, well, you already have plenty. I do have plenty. It's like, it's a hobby. It's something I like doing. I am a nerd about this. I enjoy it, and those are my results. I really like doing this. 70-48 is my next goal. I'll get me some 70-48. 60-24. Why not? It's like the last thing up here. 60-24, we'll put it up. A C is alright. Running 50 amps and 1/16 inch diameter rods is about as hot as I had to run it to get a nice clean bead. It's a good peel. But for now, that's all there is. And I will leave you off with that. I'm curious to hear your own take on this and how you view different rods. What do you think of the various ones you have? Leave a comment about that, and I'd be down to see how you rate your welding odds. I probably already said that. You know what? Oh well. Yep. All right, I'm out. Oh yeah, I forgot the MG500. That's a C tier because it's all right. Yeah, it's like another glorified 6013 variant. It's okay. Let's say a C minus. Haha, you know I always forget stuff. Oh well. Yep. That's the MG500 for you. We'll float 69 out.